Hello, this is Robert Price, and I would like to show you the differences between SSDs and hard disk drives. To start off the basics, hard disk drives usually have a higher capacity, a lower cost for large storage options, and standard form factors, whereas solid-state drives tend to have a much higher speed, lower power consumption, and no mechanical or moving parts. While both serve the same function, solid-state drives and hard disk drives use a much different means to record data. As I was saying, a similar function, but a much different method. A solid-state drive functions similar to a flash drive, whereas a hard disk drive functions kind of like a record player. On hard disk drives, common hard drives are between 2 and 5 gigabytes. They're fantastic for mass storage, and modern drives typically have a very low failure rate. However, it is still at its core a mechanical system, and any system with moving parts will have a tendency to fail. Even the best and newest are still slow compared to your typical SSD. Unfortunately, they also use more power than solid-state drives due to their mechanical parts. And they can be noisy, especially before they fail. Solid-state drives tend to be very fast, with very fast read speeds and write speeds. They tend to use less power and are totally silent. However, they are much more expensive for the same amount of storage, and they have a lower capacity than your average hard disk drive. They also tend to only allow a certain amount of write cycles before they fail. This is a screenshot of my computer. C and F drives are solid-state drives. As you can see, their capacity is a lot lower than all the other drives. Drives H and I are newer hard drives. They're a lot bigger than the ones that are built into the computer. So what's inside these things? Solid-state drives function very similarly to a flash drive, and hard disk drives have a hard disk. Solid-state drives are based on non-volatile flash memory, and hard disk drives write like a record player. Hybrid drives contain both a hard disk and a solid state, but they're not particularly great at either one. There's always a trade-off, so pick what best suits your needs. If you're storing a ton of music or movies, go with a hard disk drive. If you want to run that hot new game or app, try a solid state. Or you can run multiple drives. Sometimes one drive just isn't enough, for reasons such as needing more storage or more options for storing your data. Mixing and matching may be the answer, so you can get the best of both worlds, higher performance and more storage. This example is a monster gaming rig. Say this person needs a high speed storage. They could run 2 SSDs in a RAID 0 where the computer will treat them as one drive. There's no failure tolerance, but you will have a blazing fast read and write speeds. The impatient user sometimes wants a balance of speed and storage. You could run a solid-state drive in tandem with a hard disk drive. Use the solid state for the operating system and important programs, and the hard disk drive for the rest. There is a bit of added complexity, but it's a great balance of speed and storage. The electronic hoarder. You need a huge amount of storage. You could run 3 or more hard disk drives in RAID 5 or in RAID 10. You can store a huge amount of data with great failure tolerance. But even with hard disk drives, this can be expensive, and it's a bit complex. As shown, hard disk drives cannot even come close to the same speed and energy efficiency. As shown, the overall price per gigabytes has gone down on solid-state drives, but it's still more expensive to go with a solid-state drive. The test computer was using a solid-state drive and then a hard drive. The test speed showed that in any application, the solid-state drive is faster. This table shows various hard disk drives and solid-state drives at idle power and load. The SSDs overall are more efficient. The boot time is important for many users. Once again, the SSDs are undoubtedly faster. No moving parts gives the solid-state drive a huge advantage over the mechanical hard drives. SSDs are important in laptops as well. The lower power consumption makes battery life last longer. Still, the main drawback of solid-state drives is cost. There are only two real advantages to hard disk drives: lower cost for capacity and availability in large sizes. The advantages of an SSD are very clear: much faster read and write, more durable, more form factors, less power, less waste, and more reliable. SSDs are the best choice overall, and aside from specific circumstances, basically needing a lot of storage on a budget, SSDs are the way to go.